This young man always wanted to become a warrior, but he never won a single battle. Instead of giving up, he decides to go after the deadliest monster and prove his true worth. People always talk about the stars, but they forget to look down. If they ever look deep enough, they will find something beyond their imagination. Thousands of years ago, kings used to build statues of warriors out of stone. For centuries, these statues stood lifelessly in the mortal darkness, but they never got damaged. Finally, one day, the light reached the statues and granted them life. Thus, the world of terracotta was born, and the soldiers were named after it. A bustling city called Qinyang is built on top of terracotta. There lives a young man named Magnus, who always dreams of becoming a great warrior. He works at a blacksmith shop and always begs his master to forge a sword for him. Unfortunately, only the official warriors are allowed to have swords. Suddenly, the town gets attacked by its sworn enemy and the deadliest animals, the tyrants. All the citizens hide themselves, but Magnus steals a sword and jumps on the battlefield. For years, the warriors tried their best to protect the city, but many of them were sacrificed. Tyrants come in different sizes, but all of them want to kill the terracotta warriors. It's impossible for a commoner to face them, but Magnus isn't afraid of anything. However, as soon as he enters the battlefield, he slips his foot and falls down from the cliff. He lands on top of a tyrant and keeps getting thrown here and there. Luckily, Jin, the general of warriors, arrives and takes the battle in his hands. He's not just Magnus's role model, but loved by all the people of Qinyang City. Magnus also wants to become a part of elite warriors and fight along with General Jin. After a heated battle, the tyrants eventually retreat and the soldiers start celebrating their victory. However, Magnus is going to face the consequences of his careless actions. His master is really angry and orders Magnus to clean the whole battlefield as a punishment. His friends are also shocked at his behavior and advise him to be more sensible. There's a rumor about a new tyrant that had caused many citizens to disappear. No one can survive against this tyrant, so the safest option for Magnus is being an orderly. Moreover, the elite warriors are born to be this powerful, so it's impossible for a commoner to become one of them. But Magnus doesn't listen to anyone and prefers to get eaten by a tyrant than giving up his dream. While talking, Magnus accidentally runs into a group of rude warriors who often make fun of him. They notice a fake elite badge Magnus made for himself and snatch it away. Poor Magnus feels embarrassed and asks for his badge, but the warriors refuse to return it. Suddenly, General Jin arrives there and stops the nonsense. He has been noticing Magnus's passion for a long time and decides to give him a chance. If the boy succeeds in killing the rumored tyrant, he will be honored as an elite warrior. It is clearly suicide, but Magnus bravely accepts the challenge and goes to the forest. He keeps following the footprints and reaches a deserted land where a deadly tyrant is busy eating mushrooms. Of course, Magnus can't face the monster, so he plans a different strategy. He sets up a trap and spreads some mushrooms to lure the tyrant. The plan seems to work at first, but then a masked girl attacks the tyrant out of nowhere. She seems like a skilled warrior who bravely faces the tyrant. However, this one is stronger than other tyrants and pins down the girl. Magnus considers it a good chance to get back his prey and jumps forward. However, he causes a mess like always and falls down along with the girl. Magnus can't see anything and unintentionally gets inside another dimension. There he meets a mysterious creature named Master Ninetails who calls this place Monolith Forest. It's like a library that contains the history of the underground world. It also has information about Qinyang City, but it is just like a drop in the ocean. When Magnus doesn't agree, Master Ninetails shows him a model of the hidden cities. The underworld never stopped expanding, and there are several magnificent cities beyond Qinyang. The terracotta warriors used to live here, but most people like Magnus don't know anything about this place. Master Ninetails also talks about the tyrants, who are actually spiritual animals that survive on mushrooms. Their most valuable possession is the creation stone. It helps the tyrants in bringing up their offspring. The other powers of this stone are still unknown. The tyrant Magnus wants to kill is called Kunlun. It is the most rare kind ever to exist. Seeing Kunlun, Magnus gets excited and asks for help in killing it. Master Ninetails gets really shocked at Magnus's immature behavior and asks him to open his eyes wider to explore the world. He must follow the heart and see where it leads him to. Magnus doesn't seem to understand anything, so the master sends him back to the forest and tells him to follow Dodo. It's a cute little creature that will guide Magnus on his journey. Magnus believes that Dodo can locate Kunlun, so he starts following him blindly. Before he can start his journey, he meets the masked girl again. She is still angry at Magnus and asks him to stay out of her way. As their target is the same, Magnus wants to team up, and in exchange the girl can use Dodo to locate the tyrant. The girl agrees to the deal, but doesn't even share her name. However, Magnus is quite nosy and checks the girl's flute to figure out her name. She is called Jade, but she likes to keep her identity hidden. That's why she keeps wearing a mask all the time. Dodo starts heading to weird places and takes Magnus and Jade to a mysterious castle. Suddenly they hear a scream and rush inside to help. There lives a creepy man who is trying to roast a goat. On seeing the two young travelers, the man leaves the goat and summons the deadly slaves. He's the culprit behind the missing citizens. He kills them and converts them into energy pills. Magnus is still trying to process the information while Jade has already started to fight. She breaks the monstrous snake into pieces, but it keeps regenerating itself. Magnus observes everything closely and figures out that they need to attack the monster's eyes. Jade agrees to the strategy, and together they defeat all the monsters. While fighting, Jade's mask falls off and reveals her beautiful face that leaves Magnus mesmerized. The burning kiln also rolls away and crushes the man. The palace seems to be falling down, so the goat helps everyone in escaping through a tunnel. The goat is named Shorper, who used to be a powerful weapon, but the creepy man enslaved him. He has lost all hopes of escape until Jade showed up as a miracle. Shorper admires her skills and wants to spend the rest of his life being Jade's friend. Jade doesn't respond to any comment and keeps walking until they reach the other side of the tunnel. It is full of starflies, tiny creatures that turn night into day and bring life to anything. Jade finally gets a chance for a peaceful talk and asks Magnus why he didn't bring his comrades. Magnus can't lie anymore and reveals that he is just an orderly who doesn't know how to fight. For centuries, warriors were born with strength, while the commoners could never become like them. However, a few years ago, General Jin challenged fate and defeated the tyrants despite being a commoner. Magnus wants to become like Jin, but no one supports him. Jade feels sorry for him and offers to train him. Magnus gets excited and works really hard to become a fighter. With each passing day, he keeps getting better and learns how to use a sword. Moreover, his relationship with Jade improves drastically. Now she smiles more often, and it's all because of Magnus. After completing the training, Magnus and Jade continue to chase their target. While doing that, they accidentally wake up a giant underground monster. Jade asks everyone to stay as quiet as possible because the monster can't see but hear very well. Shorper can't hold it anymore and triggers the monster. While trying to save him, Magnus and Jade make the situation even worse. Now the only option is to run away. Kunlun is running beside them too, but it's not the right time to kill it. The monster makes them reach the burning volcano and block their way. Magnus notices that Kunlun is just trying to protect its babies, so he also comes forward to help. Once the babies run to safety, Kunlun doesn't leave and helps Magnus in defeating the monster. Jade pushes the monster towards the lava, but at the last moment, the monster grabs Magnus with its tongue. While trying to save him, Jade gets injured and falls unconscious. Magnus immediately carries her and starts looking for an escape. The cave is getting full of water, so Magnus builds a boat to move further. Instead of finding an exit, they reach a narrow path that breaks their boat into pieces. Magnus doesn't care about himself and keeps trying to save Jade. After a while, Jade opens her eyes in a small house where an old lady is treating her. Magnus is also there, and he reveals the whole story. When they were drowned in water, Kunlun saved them and brought them to Qinyang City. Magnus treats the old lady like his grandma, but he doesn't have a clue that she is actually Master Ninetails in disguise. After recovering, Jade finally reveals the story behind her journey. She grew up with her grandpa, who always believed that she was more special than others. To find her true identity, Jade kept looking for her lost parents, but never found a clue. Grandpa always stayed beside her, but one day, Kunlun pushed him down the cliff. Wants to avenge her grandpa's death, and that's why she is after Kunlun. Magnus feels really sorry for Jade and takes her to the market to have some good time. At night, Qinyang gets full of lights and mesmerizing street performers. Jade steps forward to see the dragon show, but accidentally gets separated from Magnus. After being away from him, Jade finally realizes that she is falling in love with Magnus. He brings some magic lanterns and glides in the sky along with Jade. After coming down, Magnus pulls out the stone he carved for Jade, and in exchange, she lets him keep her beloved flute. He also promises to find her parents after completing this mission and firmly holds her hand. Before Jade can say anything in response, they hear a loud noise. Kunlun has broken into the city, the elite warriors have taken their positions to attack, but Jade wants to kill the tyrant by herself. Meanwhile, Magnus tries to handle the situation to avoid any mishaps. He throws some wine at Kunlun and jumps on its back to calm it down. Once the tyrant gets stuck, Magnus ties it with ropes and waits for the officials, but Jade wants to take her revenge right now. Magnus reminds her that Kunlun saved their lives, but she still doesn't put down her sword. Suddenly, the elite warriors arrive and try to take all the credit. While fighting with Magnus, the warriors reveal that they were the actual murderer of Jade's grandpa. They were trying to catch Kunlun when Grandpa got in the way. The warriors didn't care about the old man and pushed him down the cliff. Hearing this, feels ashamed of hating the innocent tyrant for years. She starts attacking the real culprit, but the warriors are greater in number. They capture the poor girl and present her before the general. Jade requests the general to punish her grandpa's murderers, but he says that many people die in battle. Hearing this, Jade gets really angry and calls Jin an incompetent leader who is trying to hide the dark deeds of his warriors. She expects Magnus to stand beside her, but he apologizes to the general for the disrespect. The general fulfills his promise of promoting Magnus and asks Jade to leave. In anger, Jade tries to attack the general, but Magnus stands against her. She realizes that Magnus has become one of the selfish elite warriors, and therefore she quietly leaves the city forever. The next morning, Magnus is officially honored as an elite warrior and gets everything he dreamed of. However, he's still not happy because now his happiness lies somewhere else. Later that night, Jade angrily throws the carved stone in the water but immediately jumps after it. She is angry at Magnus but can't forget how much she loved him. Similarly, Magnus also misses her and keeps playing the flute she gave him. At midnight, the city gets attacked by the leader of tyrants, followed by their army. Kunlun can feel the presence of its mates and try to break free, but the jailers keep torturing it. Suddenly, Magnus reaches there and asks the jailers to leave the poor animal. He requested the general to let Kunlun go as the warriors were killed by the palace owner, but the general thinks that all the tyrants are guilty. Killing them publicly will showcase the power of elite warriors. Magnus can't let that happen and apologizes to Kunlun. He cuts all the chains, but Kunlun takes him along to a secret chamber of the city. The Stone of Creation is kept here, and that's why the tyrants are attacking the city again and again. Magnus wraps the stone in his cape and tries to escape with it, but the general catches him. Magnus explains that he is just trying to end the war, but the general doesn't listen to him and prepares to fight. All of a sudden, Jade reaches there to protect Magnus and helps him escape the chamber. While leaving, Magnus notices the general swallowing an energy pill. He is also involved in killing the missing citizens just to increase his power. Before Magnus can exit the city, the general orders the warriors to surround Magnus and his friends from all sides. Magnus still doesn't return the stone and starts addressing the whole army. He tells them about the creation stone and how the general stole it to start the war. He is responsible for the death of all the innocent people and tyrants. Unfortunately, the warriors don't believe him and continue fighting with the tyrants. Magnus tries to protect the stone and accidentally absorbs some of its powers. The general notices him and takes away the stone. He is badly injured but pierces himself with the creation stone to absorb all of its powers. The thirst for power has made him crazy, and he kills several warriors to recover himself. He becomes so powerful that he defeats the tyrant's leader in just one blow. Both the warriors and tyrants get scared and step away from the general. However, Magnus and Jade still don't give up and try to aim for the general's eye. Unfortunately, his power is continuously increasing. He starts beating up Magnus and also recalls his own story. He was just an orderly until he found the creation stone and absorbed its power. The general believes that the only thing that can fulfill your dreams is power. Saying this, he attacks poor Magnus and cuts off his arm and feet. The general still doesn't get satisfied and proceeds to kill Magnus, but Jade jumps in to protect her love. Unfortunately, the general uses his sword to kill the poor girl. Seeing this cruel incident, all the warriors and the tyrants attack the general, but nothing can stand against his powers. He starts killing everyone and absorbs their life forces to become more and more powerful. He doesn't even spare the weak citizens. Meanwhile, Magnus keeps dragging himself to reach Jade and firmly grabs her hand. Jade asks him to let go because her time has come, but she promises to always stay alive in Magnus's heart. After losing Jade, he looks back at the burning city and falls unconscious. After a while, he finds himself in Monolith Forest and hears the voice of Master Ninetails. He reminds Magnus that even after becoming an elite warrior, he wasn't happy. Because these titles don't matter. The ones you love matter. They are what give meaning to your life. Saying this, Master Ninetails disappears but triggers the powers Magnus absorbed from the creation stone. His body regenerates and Shorpa becomes his magnificent sword. Because his intentions are pure, Magnus gains more strength than the general and kills him with a single strike in the chest. The creation stone is recovered and returned to the tyrants, which brings their lives back on track. Magnus has saved everyone, but he lost the most valuable person of his life. Later, he contacts Master Ninetails for help, but even the Master can't locate Jade's body or her family background. If Magnus still wants to find out, he needs to face the hardest challenges of his life. However, Magnus is not afraid. He will keep looking for Jade even if it takes his whole life.